When asked to define what art is, most people think of mediums such as paintings, sculptures, photographs, or drawings. If pushed to expand the definition further, people may name less traditional mediums such as music, theater, film, ceramics, and literature. In reality, there is no master list of what art is and isn't. The Oxford Dictionary simply defines art as the expression of human creative skill and imagination, primarily appreciated for its beauty or emotional power. Under this definition, things like fashion, food, interior design, architecture, or even makeup could be classified as art. Art at its core is not about the materials or process used to create something, but about the feelings it evokes and the story it tells. Art is inherently emotional, and regardless of the medium, it is a deep expression of what it means to be human. Art has the power to move us, to make us feel something, and to tell stories. Art can be used as a way of connecting with ourselves and with each other. Its power lies in its ability to inspire, create joy, and provoke thought. Art is an expression of the human experience, and its value lies in its ability to bring people together. Consider, for example, The Great Wave of Kanagawa by Katsushika Hakusai. The story and symbolic elements of the Great Wave invoke strong emotions such as helplessness, human fragility, and even wonder. Notice the fishing boats at the bottom of the print, how they seem to disappear within the turbulent water. Focus on Mount Fuji in the background of the image, a steady mountain which contrasts the large, wild waves in the foreground. Have there been moments in your life when you felt like the fisherman in the boat, struggling against forces you can't control? Who or what was your steady mountain? Have you ever been the steady mountain for someone else? Art and storytelling are synonymous with one another, and it's the narrative aspects of art which make it so emotionally impactful. There are 4 elements of storytelling in art. First, the characters. The characters in art can be a literally drawn or painted human, an animal, an abstract version of a human, the artist who created the painting, or even the viewer themselves. In Pierre Mondrian's 1942 work, Broadway Boogie Woogie, the characters of the story are the jazz dancers, which Mondrian observed in New York City. The painting doesn't show any people, but the viewer can feel the dancers' movements through the color and composition of the work. The second element of storytelling in art is setting. Looking at Frida Kahlo's Henry Ford Hospital, the physical setting of the story is literal. It's in the name of the painting, the hospital. But Kahlo also depicts other elements of setting, such as emotional tone, psychological state, and social environment of the time. The figure in the painting, who is Frida herself, has a tear on her cheek. The ground around the bed represents her loneliness. She felt far away from her partner and her home, which are painted far in the background of the painting. All of these elements help build the setting of the work. The third element of storytelling in art is symbolism. Guapei's porcelain blue and white dress from the 2010 collection 1002 Nights is a perfect example of this. Guapei's porcelain dress is constructed through fragments, with pie-sliced shards of a dish radiating from the center of the waist and skirt sections. Still, the individual fragments suggest movement. The garment's semicircular features spanning from left to right, while its vertical headdress glistens and dances. In Guapei's reconstitution of the static objects at the center of European collecting practices, elements of decoration and display escape fixity and control. The circular train of Guapei's dress draws from early porcelains. Her embroidered designs feature white lotus blooms on a blue embroidered background, accentuating the ambiguity of Chinaware's origins and authenticity. The fourth and final element of storytelling in art is viewer connection. Art is an emotional bridge which taps into the emotions and shared humanity through stories. Art invites a viewer to bring their own experiences, feelings, and interpretations into a piece. This Yupik Native American mask is one artist's whimsical interpretation of the world. The mask was created for dance ceremonies and was worn as a way to connect the dancer to the spirit world. When the wearer put on the mask, the animals and nature carved into it became a conduit for the wearer to enter the spirit realm. Carved masks like these were how the Yupik people connected with their culture's creation stories on an emotional and spiritual level. In the wave of hyperconsumerism and a global economy, however, certain forms of art have lost sight of their narrative and emotional purpose. The use of this art as a medium for storytelling has been forgotten, and the artists who create these works are suffering because of it. Fundamentally, luxury goods are art. From leatherworks to fragrance creation, high end products were once considered one of the highest forms of art. Even today, we can see leather bags and complex clothing designs in fine art museums. But in this world of hyperconsumption and competition, the art of luxury has been lost by most high end brands. Recent releases from iconic names that we all know are reminiscent of the brand's core but are missing storytelling elements which make consumers feel emotionally connected to a piece. Part of this problem is an over-reliance on celebrity partnerships. In an attempt to bond with their customers, luxury brands have turned to faces they know are familiar to their shoppers. The idea being that an endorsement from a beloved and aspirational celebrity will turn into love for the products the celebrity is promoting. This just isn't the case. Taking a photo of Zendaya holding the Mona Lisa doesn't suddenly make Zendaya the main character in the Mona Lisa. It just simply loosely associates the two together. In actuality, the character of consumer goods are the consumers themselves. If luxury brands were to frame celebrity partnerships not as the selling point of the product, but as an example of the emotional connection the story of the product can create with a consumer, celebrity campaigns for luxury goods would be far more successful. And leaning into a story for luxury art doesn't mean a brand must move away from the whimsical, sometimes surreal visuals associated with luxury goods. Art lovers connect with abstract and surrealist paintings, such as Frida Kahlo's work, with this same emotional intimacy as more literal works. For luxury brands, leaning into narratives when selling their art starts with infusing creativity and human imagination into the art itself. Purchasers are criticizing top designer brands for their products being boring and lacking soul. To shoppers, it seems like luxury brands don't care about the art they are creating because the brand knows their logo is already synonymous with luxury products. And there have been consequences for this. Luxury brands are losing money. Forbes reported that luxury brands as a growth segment ranked weaker in 2025 than they did in the last 2 years, with the vast majority of high-end brands reporting a loss in brand value in the third quarter. However, one high-end brand has stood out from the rest when it comes to financial success in 2025. Hermes. To put the difference in a sentence, Hermes products look crafted, not produced. Their items have intentional design and artistic insight. It isn't difficult to imagine any Hermes bag sitting in a museum, especially when we compare Hermes items to other luxury brands. These other goods are not aesthetically pleasing just standing on their own. There's no beauty, craft, or story behind them. The focus of other brands is seemingly 100% on function and logos, whereas Hermes combines function with narrative and intention. Luxury brands need to start viewing their products as art again. This shift starts with the creation of the art and ends with the connection between consumer and product. Every piece high-end brands are releasing should have a story behind it. It should invoke strong emotions to the viewer and therefore will motivate the viewer to become the owner.